and welcome to Two Tired Teachers. Today we're going to be talking about how to tow, and we're doing that while we are actually towing. So several things that you need to think about when you are getting ready to tow for the first time. If you are towing an RV, then your vehicle should come equipped with or you should have had installed a tow haul package. Be sure that you engage that. I don't understand all of the workings of that. All I know is that it helps the engine to shift gears at a different rate that's better for you when you're towing, and it also helps tremendously whenever you're in the mountains, things like that. Another thing, it is going to take you a lot longer to start and a lot longer to stop. So if you're used to jackrabbit driving, this isn't the same. You're going to need to leave yourself a lot of distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And the more heavy the traffic, the more space you're going to need to leave, because you can't always see far in advance. Know that other vehicles are going to cut you off, and you're going to have to adjust for that and just stay back. If you are in a hurry, then leave the RV at home, because this is not for you. You need to make sure that you have plenty of time. You allow yourself plenty of time to get to your destination safely while you're towing. Stopping takes a lot longer. Starting takes a lot longer. So you have to plan ahead. Another thing is, you cannot just zip in and out of lanes. It requires a lot of preparation and planning. We're on a pretty not isolated, but it's not a heavily traveled road. Those are the ones we prefer to travel on. Also, you'll notice that as I'm changing lanes, I'm not looking back. That's because if I look back, all I'm going to see are nose prints on the back window. You can show them that. Nose prints on the back window and the fifth wheel. So there's not much to see when I look back. You will become very dependent on your mirrors, and the outside mirrors on mine, specifically those concave mirrors, you're going to have to get used to using those. That's going to show you what's happening in the lane next to you, and so the one closer to you shows you what's further back, but the concave will show you what's immediately next to you, if there's anybody there or not. So get used to and practice using those mirrors. Another thing is, your turns are going to have to be a lot wider. Turning from the right lane, if you're turning onto a one-lane each direction road, sometimes you're going to have to sit and wait until people clear so that you can actually go out wide enough to make that turn. And once again, look at your mirrors as you're making that turn. See where the wheels of your trailer are, and that's going to help you learn how far you need to make those turns. An empty parking lot is a great place to practice so that you can get used to how wide those turns need to be. The wider turns and pulling into gas stations, things like that, require a lot of planning. You need to find a gas station where you're going to have room to navigate. Some gas stations, the pumps are really close to the door. If that's the case, I go to the next gas station. I do not let the truck get low, at least by a fourth of a tank. We're going to fill up, so that we're not going to be forced to try and navigate a gas station where it's going to be very difficult to get around those pumps. So the beginning, you might want to go to just truck stop areas, things like that, so that you can have room to navigate around the pumps. The other thing is, roadside parks, rest areas, places like that, most of those have truck/RV lanes, and so those make things very, very helpful. When you are towing, you cannot look at MapQuest and say, oh, this says we're going to arrive in 4 hours. That's true if you're not towing. If you're towing, it's going to take you considerably longer. So bear that in mind, especially, we'll say, if you're taking a longer trip. If MapQuest says it's going to take 8 hours to get to a certain location, realize that very well may take you 10 hours, and plan your stops accordingly. you're going to need to get out and stretch and walk around, and also just towing takes longer. So plan that as part of your trip. Another thing to consider when you're towing, we live in Texas. We got a lot of just flat, wide open spaces. But when you're traveling in areas where there are going to be perhaps bridges or tunnels or excessively windy roads, you need to check and make sure that your vehicle will be able to navigate those roads. There are GPS that you can buy where you put in the dimensions of your RV and it will route you on roads that you can access. Also, whenever it comes to overpasses, personally, that was something that I wanted to wait a little while before I tried to navigate. I know for some people it's going to be no big deal, but for me, I wanted to take everything just kind of a step at a time, reach my comfort level, and then add something else. So the first few trips, we made sure they were nice short trips where we didn't have to go to a gas station. I didn't have to go on a high overpass. And it was just pretty much a straight shot. And then I added, and then we added, and it increases your confidence and your comfort level. It's something I strongly encourage. Have I forgotten anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. So practice the parts that you can in a nice big open parking lot. Build up your confidence. Look for those. So just to kind of recap, a lot longer to stop and start, wider turns, use your mirrors, engage the tow haul package, make sure that you have clearance on the roads that you're going, either for hairpin turns or for bridges, overpasses, things like that. Practice makes perfect. Don't try and do everything the first trip, and build up your confidence, and then enjoy your RV. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.